Hello everyone, my name is AZZATRU, how are you, and welcome to another Star Wars Battlefront 2 video. Now in this video I am going to be giving you my campaign impressions, as well as an update to the content coming to Battlefront 2's campaign next month. So I'm going to be talking about that first, but if you would like to hear my impressions on what I did and didn't like about the story mode, then you can wait until the end. There will be spoilers, I'll let you know when I'm going to be talking about spoilers later on in the video if you haven't played it already or completely finished it. So, without further ado, let's get on with the content update. Now, supposedly, it said on the website 3 new chapters would be coming in Star Wars Battlefront 2 Resurrection. Now, Resurrection is the brand new content update for the campaign, which is coming on the 13th of December, which is week 2 of the Last Jedi season. So, on that day, we're getting Crate, we're getting Dakar, we're also getting Finn and Phasma, a new hero ship, and a bunch of other stuff, including this campaign update. Now, it says these chapters now, but I'm pretty sure last night it did say 3 chapters. Now, 3 chapters means 3 missions, which is pretty cool. I was expecting maybe 1 or 2 at the maximum, but we're getting 3. So that's pretty cool. So now I'm going to be getting into spoilers, so if you have not played the campaign or don't care about spoilers, please feel free to come off the video, because I will be talking about Resurrection. So let's get into it. Before I talk about my impressions, I just want to say Resurrection, in case you forgot, is the Empire's or First Order's plan now. I mean, it could potentially be Snoke, it could just be a codename for, you know, the rise of the First Order, because the description on the website says you'll join Commander Iden Versio during the days of the First Order's rise to power. So, Battlefront 2's campaign finished on a note where it was like, right, what's next? Well, here we go. We're getting 3 missions that will follow Iden, so we get more times play as Iden and see what actually happens probably around 30 years into the future. I'd assume it's going to be a bit less because the Force Awakens gap is 30 years, but I'd assume it's a bit less than that. And I really hope the last mission takes us right up until where Kylo Ren goes to Jakku, just before, right exactly a second before the Force Awakens starts. That would be fantastic. That would be amazing. I'd love to see that. But talking about the campaign in general, I think it was much better than I expected. I think they did a really good job to say it was the first time as a team they worked together. I made a story. You know, they did have troubled development with Visceral's game, and then they was forced to put onto this game to make this campaign, and over the last 2 years they've created something that is good. It was never going to be a masterpiece in my opinion. People definitely had high expectations, but again, it's a multiplayer shooter with multiplayer shooter mechanics, and they had to make a story out of it, a Star Wars story, one that felt authentic, and to me, it did. I think it nailed a lot of things. It definitely filled up various plot points that I wanted to know about, as well as ones that I didn't even know existed. You know, seeing Han Solo and Princess Leia do their thing, and seeing more of Lando. I didn't expect to see Lando in the game, but he definitely got more screen time in the game, and you know, you got to play as him. I think a standout highlight for me was Shriv. I think he was a fantastic character and one of the best. I think Del was actually a really good character, and Hask as well. They were both quite good characters. I expected them just to be sort of, you know, in some games you get these characters that work with you or you're part of a team, but they don't really do much. They're just sort of there, and they might die, or that, you know, they might just help you out in 1 or 2 missions, but they don't really do much. And it seemed like that was going to be the case at the start of the game, but as it developed with the treachery of Del, you know, I mean, him and Luke's mission was really good, and then Hask becoming, you know, straight on focused on the Empire, and then eventually becoming a First Order officer, or, you know, high up the ranks there. I think that was pretty cool. I think there needed to be at least 1 or 2 missions before Iden defected. I would have liked to have seen more Vardos gameplay, maybe a mission just before that happens. You know, having to find something or do something at least, that would be cool. And then before that, just something extra. It just needed an extra maybe hour or so before she did turn, because it felt like it was too quick. And having read the book and this, that and the other, I understand it a bit more, but most people wouldn't have read the book, to be honest. So I think for me, there just needed to be a little bit more of a gap between her saying the Empire is, you know, wrong. I think there was some moments in the campaign where the pacing was very off, and I think they needed to tell you times, like how many days or months or weeks it's been or whatever, rather than just in a bit of dialogue. It definitely needed to say in, you know, the bottom left-hand corner. I think that would have been very helpful because the timeline seemed a little bit off at points. You couldn't quite tell what was going on and when. So I think that was a main issue for me. I was pleasantly surprised about the mechanics. I thought the mechanics were going to be just literally multiplayer ported over, but there was some new stuff in there. I think, you know, opening doors should be a one press of a button rather than having to, you know, wait for the interaction button to go all the way around, you know, holding that button. It just didn't make sense. It sort of broke the fluidity of certain missions, especially like the first mission. You was just going up to a door and you'd have to stand there. Doors don't work like that. You know, you press a button and it opens, not hold it and keep holding it for about 5 or 6 seconds. It doesn't work like that. So I didn't like that. But overall, I think the script was fantastic. I think the dialogue, the way it was acted was great. The cutscenes were phenomenal. There was just a few little pieces of story here and there that I was like, eh. I mean, I've played it about twice now. I fully completed it the other day at home, but then when I was at DICE, I basically all but completed it, and I knew the ending. I watched a couple of other guys who had completed it. I watched them complete it because I didn't want to play it for myself. I wanted to experience it myself at home, and I really enjoyed it. It was fun. I just wished it was a tad longer at the start. There was probably more. I wanted more set pieces as well. You know, right at the start on the Endor mission, the way, you know, you set up and you can navigate what enemies to look at. You can, right, okay, there's a group there, I'm going to go to that group. There needed to be more moments like that, rather than just, you know, activate something and guard your droid that's doing something and waves of enemies come in. There needed to be a point where you could take risks. I mean, I think the Bespin mission as Iden and Del, that was quite good because it gave you the option to sort of go quiet and go past certain groups of stormtroopers, but then there was parts where you just could not avoid them because they would always turn round, or you go around the corner and be a stormtrooper there, so there was no way of avoiding it at times, and I thought that was a bit stupid because you're trying to remain silent, and then whatever you do, you're going to get caught up, so you might as well just go around shooting everybody straight away. But overall, I think it was good. It was probably a 7.5. I wouldn't say it's an 8. I think if I play the Resurrection content and it's very good, I think it would go to an 8. But I think it's going to stay at a 7.5 because there was certain things that I did not like. But as for a Star Wars story and as for the fact it connected so much, I thought it was great. You know, just the little references to various books and various characters, I think was fantastic. It just really tied everything up really, really well. You know, we see things like the compass in the Pilio mission. We also see the Battle of Jakku actually happening, and I'm not 100% sure, but in the Jakku mission, when you're fighting on the ground where the AT-ATs are, I'm pretty sure that's literally the map of Graveyard of Giants. Or you can see it from the air as well. I'm pretty sure that is the Graveyard of Giants map from the first game, which is really, really cool. I love that. You know, we played the Battle of Jakku, been 2 years ago. 2 years ago next month, and then we were playing it from the air this time around. I think that was fantastic. Battle of Jakku was great. There were some really good missions. There were some that were pretty flat. I think Lando's mission was pretty good. You know, it was quite less linear. You sort of could do a little bit what you want, and, you know, Shriv was always doing pretty cool stuff. I did like the lava, how it was rising, and, you know, it genuinely felt like it was the first time in the campaign you was like, you've got to get a hurry up. I really liked there was a moment where at the Bespin mission with Iden and Del, the TIE fighter rose up as you got to the end. That reminded me so much of that Rogue One trailer where Jin's running up to the end and the TIE fighter's there. That was really cool. It's moments like that made it really good, but at the same time, it wasn't perfect, and you just needed something more. Anyway, that is all my thoughts on the campaign in Star Wars Battlefront 2. It definitely seemed just like an actual Star Wars story, which is what it tried to be. It just needed something else. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, because I'm sure most of you will have played it by now. It was short, but, you know, I didn't expect anything more than 6 hours. I think some people were hoping for longer, but most shooter stories don't last that long, and it didn't surprise me, but it was full of content in each mission. So that's where I'll leave it there. Thank you very much for watching again, and I shall see you all in my next Star Wars Battlefront 2 video. Goodbye.